Welcome back to. Before you spend another old penny, stop for a moment and look closely. That small copper coin sitting in a jar, drawer, collection, or even ordinary pocket change could be far more interesting than it looks. Today on Coin Seller Network, we are taking a close look at the 1941 wheat Lincoln penny, a classic American coin from an important period in U.S. history. And while most 1941 pennies are not worth anywhere near a fortune, certain rare examples, unusual errors, exceptional condition, or coins with extraordinary provenance can attract serious attention from collectors. In the world of rare coins, details matter, and one tiny difference can sometimes separate an ordinary coin from a highly desirable collectible. Some sensational online claims have even placed extraordinary theoretical values as high as $605,000 on rare Lincoln cents. But that figure should never be assumed for every 1941 penny. The real value depends on the coin's condition, mint mark, rarity, error characteristics, authentication, and actual market demand. So stay with me, because we're going to explore exactly what makes the 1941 wheat penny interesting and what you should check before deciding that your coin is just another 1-cent piece. 1941 wheat Lincoln penny. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the famous wheat cent series, which was produced from 1909 through 1958. The design features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse displays two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. Those wheat stalks are the reason collectors commonly call these coins wheat pennies. By 1941, the wheat cent had already been circulating for more than 3 decades, and millions of Americans were using these coins in everyday transactions. The year 1941 is particularly fascinating because it sits immediately before the United States entered World War II. America was experiencing enormous social and economic changes, and ordinary coins from this period have become small pieces of history. Every surviving 1941 penny potentially carries a story about the people, businesses, and communities where it circulated. When examining a 1941 wheat penny, the first thing you should look for is the mint mark. Some examples were produced at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, while others were struck at Denver or San Francisco and carry their respective mint marks beneath the date. The mint location can influence collectability, but the mint mark alone does not automatically make a coin extremely valuable. The next major factor is condition. A heavily circulated 1941 penny may show worn details, scratches, discoloration, and flattened lettering. On the other hand, an uncirculated example can preserve much sharper details, original surfaces, and attractive color. Collectors generally pay substantially more for coins that have survived in exceptional condition. Color can also become important for copper Lincoln cents. Professional grading services commonly classify copper cents using designations such as brown, and red. A beautiful original red example with strong luster can be significantly more desirable than a heavily darkened or damaged coin of the same date and mint. Now comes one of the most exciting parts of the hunt: errors and varieties. A genuine mint error is different from ordinary damage that happens after a coin leaves the mint. Collectors may examine a 1941 penny for unusual doubling, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die problems, or other recognized mint abnormalities. However, it is extremely important not to assume that every strange-looking mark is an error. Coins can become scratched, bent, corroded, chemically altered, or damaged by machinery long after leaving the mint. This is where careful inspection becomes essential. Start by examining the date. Make sure the numbers are clearly visible and have not been altered. Then inspect the area below the date for a mint mark. Look at Lincoln's portrait, especially the hair, cheek, jaw, and ear, because these areas can reveal how much wear the coin has experienced. Turn the coin over and carefully inspect the wheat stalks, lettering, rim, and central details. The rim deserves special attention. A strong, complete rim with minimal damage can help preserve the overall appearance of a collectible coin. Deep scratches, dents, environmental damage, cleaning marks, or corrosion can significantly reduce desirability. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is aggressively cleaning an old coin because they believe making it shiny will increase its value. In reality, Improper cleaning can permanently damage the original surface and make the coin less desirable to serious collectors. So, could a 1941 wheat penny really be worth $605,000? A headline may use a number like $605,000 to create excitement, but you should treat such a valuation as an extraordinary claim rather than the normal value of a 1941 cent. A typical circulated 1941 wheat penny is generally worth only a modest amount above face value, depending on its condition and specific variety. Exceptional coins can command much higher prices, but a six-figure valuation would require extraordinary circumstances and credible documentation. Never assume that a coin is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because someone online says so. If you believe your 1941 penny has a major error or is in remarkable condition, the smartest move is professional authentication and grading. A reputable third-party grading service can examine the coin, verify its authenticity, assign a condition grade, and encapsulate it for protection. For potentially valuable coins, professional evaluation can make a major difference because collectors and buyers need confidence that the coin is genuine and accurately represented. Another important lesson is provenance. If a rare coin has a documented history of ownership, previous auction appearances, or certification records, that information can add credibility. High-value coins are normally supported by evidence, not simply photographs and dramatic claims. There is also a historical reason to appreciate the 1941 wheat penny even if your example is not rare. Think about how many hands this coin may have passed through. It could have been used at a grocery store, dropped into a cash register, carried by a worker, saved by a child, or placed into a household savings jar. More than 80 years later, that little copper coin can still connect us to an America that existed before and during one of the most transformative periods in modern history. If you find a 1941 wheat penny, don't immediately throw it into a spending pile. Put it aside and examine it carefully under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if necessary, but avoid touching the surfaces unnecessarily. Hold the coin by its edges and never polish or scrub it. Take clear photographs of both sides and the edge if you suspect something unusual. And remember, the goal of coin hunting is not simply to find a coin worth $605,000. The real excitement comes from discovering something unusual, learning the history behind it, and understanding why collectors value certain pieces more than others. A coin does not have to be worth a fortune to be fascinating. So check your old jars, inherited collections, coin albums, and boxes of wheat cents. That 1941 Lincoln penny may be common, but it could also have an unusual characteristic worth investigating. Look at the date, check the mint mark, study the condition, inspect the surfaces, and compare your coin with trusted references before making any assumptions about its value. This is Coin Seller Network, where every old coin has a story and every small detail can make a difference. If you enjoy discovering rare coins, valuable pennies, mint errors, and fascinating American coin history, make sure you subscribe and keep watching. Because the next old penny you examine might not be ordinary at all, and the only way to know is to look closely. Before you spend, sell, or toss away an old penny, take a second look at the date. A tiny number stamped into copper could connect you to one of the most fascinating periods in American history. Today on Coin Seller Network, we're examining the 1946 wheat Lincoln penny, a classic coin that can look ordinary at first glance but becomes much more interesting when you understand its date, mint mark, condition, color, varieties, and possible errors. Some dramatic online claims place extraordinary values such as $605,000 on exceptional Lincoln cents, but don't assume every 1946 wheat penny is worth anywhere close to that amount. The real value of a coin depends on factors such as rarity, grade, originality, authentication, and collector demand. So before you ignore that old penny in a jar, stay with me, because we're going to uncover exactly what makes the 1946 wheat penny worth examining. 1946 wheat Lincoln penny. The 1946 Lincoln wheat penny belongs to one of the most recognizable coin series in American history. The wheat cent was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and the design remained in production until 1958. On the front of the coin is Victor David Brenner's famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse are two wheat ears surrounding the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America. The 1946 date is especially interesting because it came immediately after World War II. American soldiers were returning home, industries were transitioning from wartime production, and the country was entering a completely new era. Every surviving 1946 wheat penny is therefore more than a piece of copper. It is a small physical reminder of post-war America. One of the first things collectors examine is the mint mark. A 1946 Lincoln cent can be found with no mint mark from Philadelphia, while Denver and San Francisco examples carry their respective mint marks beneath the date. The mint location is important because production numbers and collector demand can vary between issues. However, a mint mark by itself does not automatically make a coin rare or valuable. The next thing to examine is condition. Imagine two 1946 pennies sitting next to each other. One has been circulating for decades. Its date is worn, Lincoln's hair details are weak, the wheat stalks are flattened, and the surfaces contain scratches and dark spots. The other has sharp lettering, strong details, original surfaces, and very little evidence of circulation. Even though both coins carry the same date, collectors may value them very differently. That is why grading is so important in the coin market. Professional grading considers factors such as wear, strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and overall eye appeal. A high-grade example can be far more desirable than a heavily circulated specimen. Color is another factor that can matter with copper Lincoln cents. Collectors often encounter brown, and red designations on professionally graded copper coins. Original red color that has survived for decades can be particularly attractive. However, collectors should be cautious because artificially altered color or clean surfaces can negatively affect a coin's desirability. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where coin hunting becomes especially exciting. A genuine mint error occurs during the manufacturing process, while ordinary damage happens after the coin leaves the mint. A 1946 penny with a legitimate and significant mint error could attract additional collector interest, depending on the type and severity of the error. Possible things collectors may investigate include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, unusual die characteristics, and certain forms of doubling. But here's an important warning. Not every unusual mark is a valuable error. Scratches, dents, corrosion, machine damage, chemical exposure, and attempted alterations can all create strange-looking features. If you think you've discovered an error, don't immediately clean the coin or try to repair it. Keep the coin exactly as you found it. Hold it by the edges, place it somewhere safe, and photograph both sides under good lighting. If the feature appears significant, compare it with trusted numismatic references or have it examined by a qualified professional. The date itself should also be inspected carefully. Make sure the digits have the correct shape and appearance for a 1946 issue. Look closely around the last digit, but don't assume every unusual-looking number is a rare variety. Damage and wear can distort the appearance of digits and letters. The reverse deserves equal attention. Examine the wheat ears, the lettering, the denomination, and the spacing between design elements. A strong strike with sharp details can make a coin more attractive to collectors. Also inspect the rim for dents or damage. A coin with excellent central details but severe rim damage may not be nearly as desirable as an otherwise similar example with a clean, intact edge. Now we come to the headline value of $605,000. Could a 1946 wheat penny automatically be worth $605,000? Absolutely not. A six-figure figure should be treated as an extraordinary promotional claim unless supported by credible auction records, professional certification, and evidence of a genuinely rare specimen. Most 1946 wheat pennies are not worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. However, that does not mean you should ignore your coin. The excitement of collecting comes from identifying the details that separate ordinary examples from exceptional ones. A coin with an unusual authenticated error, extraordinary grade, rare variety, or documented history could potentially command a substantial premium compared with a normal circulated coin. This is why professional authentication becomes important when the potential value is high. A reputable grading and authentication service can verify that the coin is genuine, evaluate its condition, and provide a standardized grade. For a coin being presented as extremely valuable, independent verification is essential. Another mistake beginners make is cleaning old pennies. You might look at a dark 1946 coin and think it would be worth more if it were shiny. But cleaning can leave permanent hairline scratches and remove original surface characteristics. Experienced collectors generally prefer coins with natural, original surfaces rather than coins that have been polished or chemically treated. The history of the 1946 penny makes it worth collecting even when the monetary value is modest. Think about what was happening when this coin entered circulation. World War II had just ended. Families were rebuilding their lives. American factories were shifting production. Veterans were returning home. New technologies were changing daily life. This tiny copper coin traveled through that world. More than 7 decades later, the coin may still be sitting inside an old collection or forgotten container. That's what makes coin hunting so fascinating. You don't need to own a famous museum piece to experience the thrill of discovery. If you find a 1946 wheat penny, start with the basics. Confirm the date. Check for the mint mark. Examine the condition. Look for original color. Inspect both sides for unusual characteristics. Study the rim. Avoid cleaning the coin. Then compare your observations with reliable numismatic information. And if someone tells you that every 1946 penny is worth $605,000, remember that sensational numbers don't replace evidence. A valuable coin needs a reason for its value. That reason might be exceptional condition, a verified mint error, a rare variety, or another documented characteristic. Always separate an exciting possibility from a confirmed market valuation. So the next time you see a 1946 Lincoln wheat penny, don't dismiss it just because it looks old and ordinary. Pick it up carefully and take a closer look. The date alone tells a story, while the mint mark, condition, surfaces, and possible varieties can reveal even more. This is Coin Seller Network, and our mission is to help you look at old coins with a collector's eye. Check those wheat pennies, protect the interesting ones, and never clean a potentially valuable coin before getting expert advice. Because sometimes the smallest coins can carry the biggest stories, and every serious coin hunt begins with one simple habit. Look closely before you spend it. Before you spend that 2018 Lincoln penny, stop and take a closer look. That ordinary-looking 1-cent coin could have a story hidden in its mint mark, condition, strike, or possible mint error. And while most 2018 Lincoln cents are common and worth close to face value, rare and unusual examples can attract collectors and, in exceptional circumstances, much higher prices. Some online coin hunting headlines even promote extraordinary figures such as $605,000, but a number like that should never be assumed to be the normal value of a 2018 penny. The real value of any coin depends on authentication, condition, rarity, error type, and actual collector demand. Today on Coin Seller Network, we're taking a close look at the 2018 Lincoln penny and the details you should check before you spend, discard, or overlook one. 2018 Lincoln penny. The 2018 Lincoln penny is part of the modern Lincoln cent series that continues the legacy of one of America's most recognizable coin designs. Abraham Lincoln appears on the obverse, facing right, while the reverse features the Union Shield design used on circulating Lincoln cents beginning in 2010. The shield represents the preservation of the United States as one united nation, while the inscriptions identify the denomination and country. Unlike older wheat pennies, the 2018 cent does not have wheat stalks on the reverse. Instead, it carries the Union Shield, making it easy to distinguish from classic Lincoln wheat cents produced before 1959. The first thing to check on your 2018 penny is the mint mark. Depending on where it was produced, you may find A, P, D, or no mint mark depending on the issue and minting circumstances. The mint mark can help identify the coin's origin and is an important starting point for collectors. Next, examine the coin's condition. A normal circulated penny may have scratches, small marks, dirt, discoloration, and signs of wear. A coin that has been protected since it was minted may retain much sharper details and attractive original surfaces. High-grade modern Lincoln cents can be particularly interesting to collectors because modern coins are often saved in large quantities, making exceptional quality and certified condition important factors. Look closely at Lincoln's portrait. Pay attention to the hair, cheek, jawline, lettering, and overall sharpness of the strike. Then turn the coin over and examine the Union shield. Check the shield lines, lettering, rim, and denomination. A strong strike with clean surfaces can make a modern penny much more attractive than a heavily damaged example. Now comes the part that gets many coin hunters excited: mint errors. A genuine mint error is created during the manufacturing process, and certain significant errors can be collectible. A 2018 Lincoln cent should therefore be examined carefully for unusual striking characteristics. One possibility collectors look for is an off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not properly positioned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted toward the edge. The degree of displacement matters, and dramatic examples can be much more interesting than tiny imperfections. Another thing to watch for is a clipped planchet. A clip occurs when part of the metal blank is missing before the coin receives its design. Genuine clips have characteristics that can help distinguish them from ordinary damage. If you find a coin with a strangely curved or missing section, don't automatically assume it is valuable. Compare the feature with known mint error characteristics and consider professional authentication. Collectors may also investigate doubling. However, this is an area where misinformation is extremely common. Many coins show machine doubling, die deterioration, or other effects that can look like valuable double dies. A genuine recognized double die variety must be identified according to specific characteristics rather than simply looking at a letter that appears slightly thicker. Another important area is the coin's surface. Modern pennies can develop spots, stains, discoloration, or environmental damage. Some collectors prefer coins with attractive original surfaces, while others may focus on certified high-grade examples. If a 2018 penny has unusual color, don't assume that unusual color means rarity. Copper-plated zinc cents can react to environmental conditions, and surface changes may actually reduce the coin's desirability. You should also avoid cleaning your coin. This is one of the most important rules for anyone interested in collecting. Scrubbing, polishing, chemicals, or abrasive materials can leave permanent marks. Even if the coin looks brighter afterward, its collector value could decrease because the original surface has been altered. So what about the dramatic $605,000 value sometimes associated with rare Lincoln pennies? A 2018 penny should not be considered a $605,000 coin simply because someone places that number in a video title or social media post. For a modern Lincoln cent to approach an extraordinary valuation, there would need to be exceptional evidence, such as a truly rare and authenticated error, extraordinary condition, or another unique characteristic supported by credible market records. The key word is authenticated. If you believe your 2018 penny has something unusual, professional evaluation can help determine whether the feature is genuine. A reputable third-party grading service can examine the coin, verify authenticity, and assign a condition grade. This is especially important when someone believes a coin could be worth thousands of dollars or more. Another useful habit is to photograph the coin. Take clear pictures of the obverse, reverse, edge, date, mint mark, and suspected error area. Good lighting can reveal details that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Avoid using filters or editing that changes the appearance because accurate documentation is important when seeking an expert opinion. Remember that rarity is not the same thing as age. A 2018 penny is relatively modern, but that does not automatically make it worthless or valuable. Modern coins can become collectible because of errors, varieties, extremely high grades, special finishes, or unusual production circumstances. The 2018 Lincoln cent also represents an interesting chapter in the continuing history of American coinage. Lincoln has appeared on the cent since 1909, making the design one of the longest-running portraits on a U.S. circulating coin. Over more than a century, the Lincoln cent has changed compositions, reverse designs, and production methods while keeping Lincoln's portrait as its central identity. That means even an ordinary 2018 penny can be a small piece of American history, It passed through the economy during a period when digital payments were rapidly expanding, yet billions of physical cents continued moving from stores to cash registers, wallets, jars, and coin collections. If you have a 2018 Lincoln penny, take a few minutes to inspect it carefully. Check the mint mark. Examine Lincoln's portrait. Study the Union Shield. Look for unusual doubling, off-center striking, clips, or other genuine mint characteristics. Inspect the surfaces for damage and avoid cleaning the coin. Most importantly, don't let an exciting headline convince you that every unusual-looking penny is automatically worth $605,000. Coin collecting rewards patience and evidence. The most valuable discoveries are not based on guesses. They are supported by authentication, documented rarity, condition, and real market demand. So before you throw that 2018 Lincoln penny into a spending pile, give it one careful inspection. It may be a normal 1-cent coin, or it may contain a characteristic worth investigating. Either way, you are learning to see coins differently, and that's what makes collecting so exciting. This is Coin Seller Network, where we search for fascinating Lincoln pennies, rare mint errors, valuable coins, and hidden treasures hiding in everyday change. Keep checking your pennies, keep learning the details, and never overlook a coin just because it looks ordinary. Because sometimes the most interesting discovery starts with nothing more than a date, a mint mark, and a closer look.